What is up, rock and metal fans? Hope all of you are doing great. Wanted to bring a new installment in this series for those about a rock. And someone was in fact asking me, so I'm just going to answer it here, that yes, it is obviously a tribute, a nod to AC/DC's album. For those about a rock, we salute you. So I just want to put that out there. But anyway, I digress. Coming back to the main point in question, I want to talk about these extraordinary guys, Pantera. There is no understating the kind of influence, style, substance, and overall approach, the aggression that these guys brought to not just the heavy metal table, but to the overall rock and roll genre. And the fact is that God rest his soul, Dimebag Darrell, and God rest his soul too, Vinnie Paul. Both of these brothers are going to be missed, and wherever they are, these are the cowboys that I'm sure are rocking in heaven somewhere. And we all miss them, obviously, but for the fact that we still have Phil, we still have Rex, still here, still kicking and doing great things. I just thought it would be an apt time to actually do a sort of like a short video on these guys and just talk about the three albums that I really like, because I really love Pantera. I mean, there's so much to really look at from their discography, from the pre-Cowboys from Hell era, as well as even things that happened all the way up to, if I'm not wrong, Reinventing the Steel. So let's get into it. The key thing is that the first album that we actually have to talk about is this one, Cowboys from Hell. This is really what broke them. This is really what changed the game. This is really what put them on the map. And you just look at this overall album. I mean, like Cemetery Gates. I mean, just the overall mix. Now, people might sometimes say, and I've heard guys say this, that, oh, that's, like the kind of ballad version, Pantera was trying to go for. But no, it's not just a ballad version. You can't just dismiss it like that. I mean, this song is a legacy in itself. And then you have other songs like The Art of Shredding. You have the actual title track, Cowboys from Hell, Concrete Sledge, a whole bunch of other tracks, which, just kind of, pull you in and, just like, kick things in a high adrenaline gear and so on. So Cemetery Gates also has its heavy side. In fact, to me, it kind of reminds me in some ways like what Beyond the Realms of Death was for Judas Priest's album Stained Glass. There's just something about it. Now, I'm not trying to say they're the same, and you guys can feel free to disagree with me. Please do if you don't agree. I'd love to know your thoughts. But that's just my view. It's just something about it reminds me of that, which gives it that extra dynamic, that extra pull factor. And then there's so many guys, into heavy music who just love this track. And for me, definitely love it. Definitely love the Cowboys from Hell track and so on. Then I want to lead into this song and this album. Actually, this album is really what it is. Excuse my digression there. But this album, which is Vulgar Display of Power. The song I was actually referring to was Walk. Now, that's the first song I ever heard of Pantera's, back at one of these heavy metal pubs where I was at years ago. And I just immediately got hooked, just fell in love with the way they had things. And this song, like Mouth of War, you have Hollow, guys. Now, that's like Cemetery Gates for what Hollow is for this album, like what Cemetery Gates was for Cowboys from Hell. So Hollow is definitely a song you should check out. There's a kind of a mood to it. There's kind of something about, I don't know, it just has Dimebag all over it. There's just something about him. And, I think especially after he passed, this was a song that a lot of Pantera fans used to play a lot in memory of him, so it's a song that, has a lot of meaning. I think this overall album was such a groundbreaking feat. It really changed, the overall genre. It gave it that kick, kind of like what I would say Rust in Peace did for Megadeth, what the Black Album, Master of Puppets did for Metallica, what Paranoid was for Black Sabbath. I mean, I know I'm making very bold statements here, but that's just my views. You guys don't have to agree with that. And I think overall it's just my favorite Pantera album. And then that leads me to this one, which is obviously at the time, and I think it still holds the record. I'm not very sure. Maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But Far Beyond Driven was, just taking things to a whole nother level. I think my favorite track off here is the song Becoming, which, just has such an interesting, catchy feel to it. But at the same time, it doesn't lose its, raw power and heaviness. And I think that, just looking at some of the other songs which are on this album, I think it's just something that, just requires you to sit down and actually just listen to it start to finish. And trust me, you won't be disappointed, because I think it's just an album that, holds your attention, that well. So guys, that's my top three records from Pantera. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys disagree, or you do agree, love to know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you so much for all the support and love you guys have shared for the other installments in the series, and I will be adding more. So with that, Take care, rock on. I'll talk to you soon.